Hello everyone, welcome to another video on the channel, and it is time for another GT Sport Daily Race C. And this week we are in Group 3 machinery. We are going to Kyoto Driving Park, and it's going to be the extended version of which is Yamagiwa+Miyabi, so that's the sort of big track and the small track combined. We have 8 laps of this track. We have fuel at ×3, tyre wear at ×15. Racing medium and racing hard tyres are both available. We don't know what the stipulation is going to be on the tyres, but given the precedent set by the last 2 weeks, let's just assume that both the medium and the hard are both to be run, or at the very least the hard tyre will have to be run. So the first thing that sort of sticks out about those settings is that tyre wear. ×15 tyre wear is pretty massive. So it kind of struck me as, it made me kind of wonder that over the first stint, when you're maybe going to do about 4 laps, what would actually be the better tyre to be on? Would it be the mediums or would it be the hards? At ×15 tyre wear, those mediums are going to go off very quickly. We're on the mediums here, we're coming to the end of a 4 lap run, and I can assure you that by sort of halfway through lap 1, the mediums are going off pretty quickly. Indeed. You can get 4 laps out of them. You can see we've managed it here. We're on lap 4, we're actually going to go into the pits here. But yeah, after about a lap and a half, your sector times are starting to go down quite dramatically. So you can see our first flying lap was at 2 minutes 18.8, and the second flying lap on the mediums was at 2 minutes 20.2. So quite a big drop off there. And it did make me curious as to how the hard tyres would fare over the same 4 lap stint. I had a sneaky suspicion that they might actually be slightly quicker. So moving on to look at those hard tyres. We're coming to the end of the 4 lap stint. We're going to pit at the end of this. But you can see also the hard tyres do start to suffer. But they certainly hold up a little bit better than the mediums. I calculated that the difference between this 4 lap run and the previous run that we did on the mediums, the hard tyres only came in about half a second slower. So that's certainly something to bear in mind as we move on later on in the video to take a look at some strategies. So a little bit of a conundrum to work out when we sort of look on how we move on to the strategies as regards to what tyre to start on. Quite an interesting situation where both the tyres over a stint seem to perform very similar. But before we get on to look at those strategies, let's move on to looking at a couple of other things, get them out of the way, and we'll move on to the pit loss and the fuel consumption. Now, the Kyoto driving park circuits have always had a very quick turnaround in the pits, and this one's no different. So into the pits we come. You can see the car straight into the box, no time wasted or to sort of simulate the car coming down the pit lane. And I've calculated that pit loss to come in at about 5.3 seconds. As for fuel, we're in the Lexus 2016 model here, and we have had no fuel concerns whatsoever getting the 8 laps complete, and I think that will be the same for all Group 3 cars. So I actually ran 4 different strategies in this car. Got screenshots of the end of the run with the lap times on the screen, and information at the top what tyres I ran and how many laps. So let's move on and sort of take a look at the finishing times for each of those runs. So the quickest way I actually managed to complete the 8 laps was to start on the hard tyres and then move on to the mediums after 4 laps and do a 4 lap stint on them. So that finishing time for that strategy was 18 minutes 43.1, and that was actually 3.4 seconds quicker than doing it the opposite way around by starting on the mediums and then moving on to the hards. As we said earlier on in the video, the sort of opening 4 laps between the mediums and the hards were quite similar in terms of overall time, just because the car is quite heavy at that point. The degradation is a lot higher on the mediums than when you move on if you were to do the 4 laps in the second stint. So it actually came as no surprise to me that the starting on the hards and then moving on to the mediums turned out to be quicker. Because the car's a lot lighter after 4 laps when you move on to the mediums last a little bit longer in terms of performance wise compared to the hards. With quite a short pit loss, only at 5.3 seconds, and obviously tyre performance dropping off so rapidly, I did wonder how competitive the two-stop would be, so we tried a couple of variations of that. We started on the hards for 1 lap, moved on to the mediums for 4, and then did a last stint on the mediums for 3 laps. And that came in at 18 minutes 44.4, so very, very close to the one-stops. Actually quicker than the medium 4 hard 4, but not quite as quick as the hard 4 medium 4. That's probably a strategy you maybe want to sort of look at if you're starting at the back. You know, just do the 1 lap in the hard tyres, get them out of the way, and then sort of maybe do 2 stints in the mediums, and you can maybe pick up some positions that way. I do quite like the look of the last strategy that we've got on the screen there, starting on the mediums and pitting after 3 laps, then moving on to do another stint on the mediums. Pitting on lap 3, that's going to give you a massive undercut over people on the one stop. Obviously you're going to have to then do an extra pit stop at the end to get those hard tyres out of the way. This is all assuming that the hard tyre is going to be mandatory. But I do think it's certainly got potential to work. So quite an interesting race I think in hand here. Obviously I'm doing all these runs on an empty track, so I'm able to maximise my lap times. I don't have to worry about traffic and stuff like that. So I'm not entirely sure what will turn out to be the best strategy on the day once traffic's involved, but I've got some suggestions up on the screen for you to take a look at, and hopefully the information in the video has been enough to sort of get you well prepared for the race. Anyway, I'm going to be doing quite a bit of this one. It's a combination I do enjoy. Group 3 at this track. I quite like high tyre wear. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. That times 15 tyre wear is no doubt going to put a few people off. But if you do happen to see me in the lobby, then please say hello. I will get back to you, and I look forward to racing some of you out there. One thing I do want to add just before the video adds, this is an original combination, certainly within the time that I've been playing Gran Turismo Sport, as was the week before. So I'll give PD a little bit of credit here that they're maybe sort of trying to get more original combinations out to us, which is always a good thing. Anyway, I shall end the video there. Please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button if you like what I'm doing on the channel. Good luck in your races, and I shall see you on the next video. Goodbye now.